click record, just so we've got that on the go.
Would you miss?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what we will do. I think this will make life a lot easier. I would love it if everybody could. No, we're not going to do that. Yes, I'll be happy to leave this. So let's go on to Tom. Let's hear from Tom first.
Hi everyone. My name's Tom Harding. I've started on Monday, so this is day 3 for me. I think I must have an extra large head because I've got the headset and my mouth is sort of in the mouthpiece. So if I'm shouting at you, I'm sorry about that. And I will be the Neighbourhood Management Senior Specialist, heading up the Neighbourhood team. I've worked in housing for many years. My last job was at Medway Council. I was there for 3 years as the housing services manager, helping the team there. So I'm really looking forward to coming over to starting work properly next Thursday and doing some great stuff here at Folkestone. I know the area a little bit. Some of you may remember that back in 2017, I did a few months for East Kent Housing with the team in Folkestone. So it's really nice to see a few familiar faces as well. And the welcome back has been great. So thank you for that. I'm going to be talking in a few minutes about a few of my aims for our new team, but that's it from me for now. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Tom. What I think we'll do is when we do the introductions from here, just say, hi, your name, your role, and a success or a win that you've had in the last week or so. So, for example, mine was getting my son to eat his dinner. That was a big win for me. You can just do your name, your job role, and a big success that you've had in the last week. I'm going to hand over to Jan now.
Hello, everybody. I think virtually all of you know me, really, except Rich and Loren, really. I'm Jan Hatcher. I'm Housing Services Manager for Independent Living Team, otherwise known as Sheltered. Big success in the last week. Well, it was my birthday Monday, which was nice. Apart from that, I can't think of a big success, but yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Jan. That's fantastic, and many more to come. Loren,
I hope so.
Yeah. If I can hand over to you, please, Loren.
Dan for Monday. My name's Loren Paine. I'm the Tenant Liaison Specialist. Big win for me this week was moving my daughter to university in Bournemouth, and she hasn't come home yet, so that's a win.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. Rich. Bring out the unmute.
Hello, yeah, I'm on mute. My name's Rich Packer. I'll be the Leasehold Management Senior Specialist going forward. Big win for the past week was, I don't know, being able to sit outside and sit at the beach while working.
That's a great win for me, definitely. Thanks.
Yeah.
Kelly, over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Flannery and I'm one of the Neighbourhood officers. Big success, I think I would say, getting my daughter to do her homework last night. That's definitely a win for me. Takes a bit of effort, so.
Excellent, thanks very much, Kelly. Hi, Alex. Oh, you're still on mute. You're still on mute. It looks great though, but we can't hear you. There we go.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm Alex, one of 2 neighbourhood management specialists to be, along with Andre. I think most of you do know me already because I've worked in kind of Folkestone 6 years or so back, and after a brief spell at Southern Housing Group, I kind of started my housing career there, really. So, yeah, big win, managing to get the basement painted where I've predominantly been working during lockdown. Looks a little bit better down there.
Fantastic, excellent.
Probably say a bit more later, but
yeah. Good stuff. Richie, who works in HR, has been working in his daughter's room for the last 6 months. Great fairy lights behind him. So if you ever get a chance to speak to Richie in HR, you'll enjoy it. Hello there, Debbie. If I can hand over to you, please.
Sorry, wasn't expecting me next. Hi, I'm Debbie Helliwell. Currently housing officer, been working at East Kent Housing in the tenancy team. Obviously going to be neighbourhood officer. I don't really know success. I managed to plant my hanging baskets, if that's a success, and they're still alive a week later. So that's good.
I see lots of positive nodding from Helen. So yes, I think that is. Yeah. Thanks so much, Debbie. And then we've got someone called House Ops, and I know that we met yesterday, and for the life of me, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Lovely floral background, wallpaper, blonde hair, glasses. Yep, that's you. I'm sorry, your name doesn't come up. It's come up as House Ops 20. So if you can unmute yourself. Oh, you're still on mute? I think you're, there you go.
Is that better?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes.
I like to remain anonymous. It's Karen Frampton, not Sue, as you called me yesterday. Sorry.
Thank you, Karen. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I'm a housing officer. I've worked for East Kent Housing since it was formed on the regulation enforcement team for the last 3 years, dealing with antisocial behaviour. And one of my biggest successes this week is picking up the new equipment yesterday, being able to turn the laptop on and get into a few programs. I've just got to remember it now.
Fantastic. That's good to hear. Thank you, Karen. Thanks so much.
Okay.
I'm going to hand over to James now. Hi, James.
James Hatton-Brown. I currently work East Kent Housing in the sustainment team. I'm coming across as a neighbourhood officer. Success of the week, apart from it being my son's birthday today and us having a nice chocolate caterpillar cake, I had a lovely new mattress delivered as well.
Yay, good sleep, fantastic. Thank you very much. And then I've got someone there who's known as Remote, and I'm afraid I don't recognize you or know your name. You've got a photograph above your right shoulder and window on your back left shoulder. Nice bob hairdo.
Hello, I'm Jane Lucas. I'm an independent living manager in Folkestone.
Thanks. Hello, Jane.
Also known as Remote.
Yeah.
I don't know, success. I suppose this week I've tracked somebody down and served them notice.
Good stuff. Well done. Thank you, Jane. And sorry, what's your role again, Jane?
I'm an independent living manager.
Independent living manager. Thank you very much. Sam, over to you. Oh, we can't hear you, funnily enough. It's not coming through. Oh, no, now you've gone back to mute there. I wonder if you should unplug it and then just use the microphone in your laptop. Sorry about that.
Is that working?
Perfect.
Yeah? Okay. So I'm Sam. I'm a neighbourhood officer and started with Folkestone on Monday. Success, I suppose, getting through lockdown with children at home and holding down a job. Probably similar for everyone, I would have thought.
No, it's a big win. It's a big success. It's well done. Thank you, Sam. And hi, Michelle.
Hi. Right, I'm an independent living manager for Folkestone Hive. Successes, I've made it through the week.
Brilliant.
That's a success.
You're here and you're still talking, so that's great. Excellent. Who's with you there?
Yes. Oh, Tracy Barlow.
Hello, Tracy. Hi. I think seeing as you're there, you might as well introduce yourself.
I'm Tracy Barlow and I'm another independent living manager.
Excellent. And what's been your big win in the last week?
Not a lot. Tenner on the lottery.
What's that?
Tenner on the lottery.
Perfect. Love it. Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Tracy. Hi, Hi, Hayley.
Hi. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name's Hayley Kent. I'm currently a housing officer in tenancy, but obviously moving over to neighbourhood officer. My biggest win of the week was doing the final tip run, clearing out my shed and the greenhouse before I moved. My little Fiat 500 has been epic, but I've done it.
Excellent, well done. I love a good tip run. And the fact that you have to book them in now. Which is
I know.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Hayley. And Andre.
Afternoon. Yep, I'm Andre Ford-Hamilton. I am one of the new neighbourhood management specialists working with Alex. Yep, I've been with Folkestone since the 7th of September now. And I guess my win is literally yesterday, the completion of the landscaping to my garden. So that's all. It's been quite a traumatic period over the last sort of, call it 3-4 weeks, but yeah, it's all done now, so I'm pretty chuffed with that.
So now you can look at something that's not a building site.
Yeah.
Excellent, good stuff. Thanks, Andre. Hi, Martha.
Hi everyone, I'm another independent living manager in Folkestone. Big success this week, making the most of the nice weather before it turned.
What was that, sorry?
I was just saying, making the most of the nice weather before it's turned.
Brilliant, yes, exactly. Good stuff. Enjoy it while it's there. I'm now going to hand over to the duo, another duo, Pete and John. Hi, gentlemen. Trying to find it.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you fine.
Yeah, John Garvey, caretaker. Biggest success. Still haven't got COVID-19.
Brilliant. I'll take that. Thanks very much.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Peter Whitby, and caretaker too. And my big success is sorting out the back garden finally.
Excellent. Sounds like you and Andre need to get together and swap notes. Brilliant. Thanks, gentlemen. And then we've got Antonia. Antonia, I don't know if you can hear us.
Tony, hi.
Hi, Tony. Are you able to switch your video on so we can see?
Oh, it's having to. Sorry. I don't know. I don't want to mess about because I don't want to lose you.
We've got you, so let's keep you. So, yeah, what's your...
I couldn't hear a lot of what you were saying initially, but basically, I'm independent living manager with Folkestone, and things I've loved this week: going for a swim in the sea and having a nice cycle. So just getting my energy back again, which is great.
Brilliant. Let's get those endorphins going. And then we've got a final person known as remote, or if there is anybody out there that we have not heard from yet, please could you speak now?
I think remote might be me. Can you hear me?
Yes, who's me?
It's Kaz Keem. I'm an independent living manager in Folkestone, and I think my success for this week was probably getting my granddaughter to finally tidy up her bedroom after waiting weeks.
Brilliant. Could you come and speak to my son, please?
I'll try.
Thanks so much, Kaz. Well, I think we've heard from everybody now. Thank you so much, everyone. That is great. We do totally appreciate and understand it's a very weird time. A lot of us aren't used to being on camera. A lot of us aren't used to speaking directly to camera. But it is great that you've all been able to do that today. We just need to get to know each other. If we get to know each other better, we can solve problems better together. So thank you very, very much. Helen, I would like to hand over to you now.
Just to reiterate that, I know it's weird and it's horrible sometimes looking at yourself in the camera, but it's really good to see people's faces. It really is. And part of what I want to do is get out and see you properly, and as long as we're socially distanced, of course, but that's my aim anyway. So just following on the agenda now, we've got a few people going to say a few things about their sort of part of the service area, and we're going to kick off with Tom.
Hello everyone, sorry the mute was a bit delayed there. Yeah, so it's really nice to see you all, and it's really nice to see the people, especially ones that I haven't met yet, and a few familiar faces. Pete and John, especially, hello to you. And I'm really looking forward to touching base with everybody in person in my teams and the neighbourhood teams over the next week or so, and then hopefully we'll be meeting face to face at some point in the who knows when future. Judging by all the people we've got here today, I mean, I think everybody probably knows what neighbourhood management is. You probably know it better than me, a lot of you. So I didn't think I'd spend too much time talking about, you know, the services of what we do, because I'm guessing that everybody knows that pretty much. But what I did want to do was just to share with you all a few kind of fairly high level sort of aims that I've got for our team and the way I'd like us to be working in the future. We're going to be discussing it in more detail at the team meeting next Thursday. So this is just sort of an introduction. So Jason, if you could put that slide on for me, please. Okay, so I was trying to think about the unique opportunity that we've got, a lot of new people coming together, an amazing mix of experience and local knowledge and new ideas and stuff, and all putting all that together to sort of shape the new teams that we're going to be making. And so I was trying to think about how I would like us to sort of, you know, take all that forward. And I've just written down a few bullet points, really. So the first one and the first two bullet points that you can see really there about, it's not just what we do, it's how we do it, and about the efficient, approachable, friendly and fair. I'm a really firm believer in that especially when we were talking with our residents and our tenants and our customers, that in 3 months' time, they will forget the reason that they phoned us or emailed us and what the problem was, but they'll remember how it made them feel. And they'll remember whether they were spoken to with respect and in a nice, friendly way, and whether they felt they were treated fairly. So I think one of my big passions, really, and something that I'll probably bore you with, the guys that are going to be working with me, is banging on about it's not just what we do, it's about how we do it, and the experience for our tenants and our customers, and whether we end up giving people a good day or a bad day. I know that goes the other way around sometimes as well. The next one about understanding our customers, I think to give that great service is you have to really get under the skin of people and you have to get to know them. I've put a macro and a micro level there, and what I mean by that is that knowing who our customers are at the high level and using our data and our systems to know, just for example, maybe how many households we've got with young children, so that we can sort of try and tailor our services around that, or how many people not living in the independent living schemes but are still fairly elderly, so we can, you know, work with them. And at a micro level, and this is really using the local knowledge that I know a lot of you have already got. It's you know, knowing that when you're dealing with Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith or whoever, you know, they may need a little bit extra help or a little bit extra support just to help them understand things. So it's about you know, knowing that our customers are all individuals and have different needs and requirements, and sort of trying to match our services to that. Working with others, we'll probably all know that in neighbourhood management, in housing management, you can't do it all by yourself, and you have to work in collaboration with lots of other services and teams, both within the council and outside the council. So it's going to be really important that we develop all those relationships. A lot of them I know will be in place already. Build ones that need building, and I really want us to have the reputation as being a team that are good to do business with, where, you know, that we're approachable, and that if other agencies or other services need to work with us or need some help from us, that we're that we're there helpful and accommodating. And then finally, continuous improvement. It's a phrase that is sort of rolled out quite frequently for good reason. And I suppose how I want to apply that is that we're all coming together for the first time, but we're bringing lots of different skills and experiences and backgrounds. It's a great opportunity to look at the way that we've been doing things either at East Kent Housing or in our own organisations, and sort of chucking that all into the mix and taking the best of everything and developing, you know, great new services or building on services, and just really that there's an atmosphere and a culture that, you know, new ideas are always welcome, always looking for better ways of doing things. That's in terms of service delivery to our customers, but also in terms of making our lives as easy as possible via efficiencies and using systems as best we can. That's it really. That's just a bit of a whiz through. We'll be coming back to some of these themes, or the guys that in the Neighbourhoods team will be coming to some of these things starting next Thursday, but forever and ever afterwards. So that's that. There's plenty of time for any questions at the end, I think. So on that note, I'll say goodbye to the slide. Thanks, Jason. And I think I'm handing over to Rich now.
Thanks very much, Tom. Yeah, folks, if you think of any questions right now, or if anybody is speaking while you thought of one, just please use the chat box, pop it in there, and we'll definitely get to it towards the end. Or if you're inspired by something that someone said, please pop a comment in there or a question, and again, we'll review it at the end. Thanks very much, Tom. Well done. Okay, Richard.
Well, hi everybody. Yeah, I'm going to be looking after the leasehold management side of the business, which I believe is sort of quite smallish, as in I don't have a team. Boo-hoo. But you all can sort of help in the way you approach leaseholders, and I think generally across the board, leasehold management is being put aside in most places, certainly in most local authorities over the years. So it'll be good to sort of grasp, I don't know, the customer service that you have for your normal sort of social housing tenants with your sort of leasehold tenants, because leasehold is the same as a tenancy really. There's no real difference except that they're allowed to stay in the property for an X number of years. I'm assuming you all do understand sort of leasehold management and the functions that will be carrying out. Yes, no, yes, nodding, yes, yes. But essentially what we'll be covering will be sort of the right to buys, the sort of the leasehold arrears, sort of service charges, so on going forward. I think for yourselves in terms of tenancy, it's usually more to do with the antisocial behaviour that can be around leasehold properties, not necessarily leaseholders themselves, but that can be around leasehold properties and their subtenants. So if you do have any sort of issues going forward, just give me a shout. If you've got any sort of questions or anything that you can't think of right now, which I'm assuming you can't, because I usually never can, then please do just pop me an email at some point. Yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what I can give you right now, but yeah, it's sort of how we can progress as a team, and we all part of a team. So yeah, if there's any sort of questions I need later on, please do give me a shout. Yeah, so that's sort of where we are really. Thanks,
you. Rich. Helen, do you mind if I ask a question? Thank you. Rich, so how will people in the team interact with you? How would they come into contact with you on a daily basis?
I mean, obviously now because we're remotely, a lot of it be through email, but I'll be getting involved with your team meetings going forward. So I'll be about in your patches, not literally, but I'll be communicating with everybody, and I'm here if you need me. I mean, more often than not, I'd have thought because of the size of place that we are, you won't need me that much, if maybe even at all, really. But if you do, I'm here. So if you want me, I'm here. Likewise, if I need you for anything, I will grab hold of you whenever. So, yeah.
Excellent. And what makes your job work?
I think at the moment, sort of because we don't have too much in terms of resources for a team for leasehold or home ownership. It's what you can do to sort of help negate any situations. I think primarily from the housing, it's more to do with issues around ASB like problems that may arise. I mean, ASB should be sort of dealt with in for the same as it would be for a tenant. There's absolutely no difference whatsoever. So, and anything else tends to be right to buy. For sort of the housing side of it, yeah, we shouldn't have that many interactions really. But yeah, I'm here if you need me for anything.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Rich. Rich is there if you need him. Thank you. Right. I'd like to now hand over to Jan, who is our independent living manager, I believe. Jan.
Hello there. I think most people in the meeting know what my team do, but there are a couple of newbies, so I will just give a very brief overview of it. Basically, the team was rebranded the Independent Living Team back in 2014 because we were desperate to try to lose the sort of warden image that a lot of people have and what comes with that. And the team were then, their titles were changed to independent living managers. So in the district, we've got 14 what I would call traditional schemes, where they've got the communal lounges and laundries and things like that. And then we've got 8 other blocks that don't have any communal facilities but are still sheltered. So overall, we've got 662 sheltered units, and my team also manage the semi-sheltered properties, which are flats and bungalows that have got a lifeline. The hardwired lifelines in a lot of them don't work now, but they still hold the semi-sheltered designation. So we've got a further 429 of those properties. So each ILM, independent living manager that is, has at least 2 schemes each. I normally have 8 in the team, but 1 left last Tuesday, so we're down to 7, and all of those are full-time except Tony, who works 30 hours a week. They also have to cover out of hours, so from 4:30 in the afternoon round till 8, 8:30 the next morning, and then over the weekends as well. We'll always have an ILM who's on call, and if Lifeline need them, then they will call them either for advice or they will physically call them out if somebody's locked out or it's an emergency of some sort, and that's done on a rota basis. We do pre-assessments on all our tenants, not so much to see what they're like, although it gives us a good insight into how they're living, because we used to go and do it in their homes, but at the moment we're only doing it by phone. But it's more to check that they can live independently. We don't refuse many, but occasionally it's obvious that that person thinks that we provide a lot of care and support, which we don't provide that. We're not a care home. So they have quite a vast job role, very similar to housing officer. They do daily or weekly reassurance calls with the team. They carry out at least annual risk assessments with the tenants. We have to do 2 different checks each week. One is a full health and safety check of the building, and now we've just introduced a second Legionella test, which is also incorporated in the normal weekly health and safety check, because we've had a fairly bad incidence in Canterbury of a Legionella case, and we've had high levels of Legionella found in another scheme in Canterbury. So the team have to go and run the taps and turn the showers on and leave them running for 3 minutes in all the communal areas. They report repairs, they hold scheme meetings normally, they deal with voids and lettings. Sadly, we have an awful lot of antisocial behaviour, and some of it is quite serious. Naughty young people become naughty old people. And in fact, recently, Jane, one of the ILMs, has dealt with 2 closure orders due to drugs. And we're talking county line stuff, not just smoking a bit of pot. They deal with housing management queries, tenant queries. They'll check the grounds maintenance and make sure that's being done properly, make sure the cleaning's being done properly, signpost tenants to other agencies, and also report lifeline issues to Tunstall, who deal with our lifeline systems. The team are not generally on site like they usually are at the moment. They are essentially still working from home, but they're going on site obviously to do their Legionella and their safety checks and to do viewings in the new format. So we're always here to help. If any of you are out and about on the patch, and you want to pop into a shelter scheme to use the loo or grab a coffee with the ILM and get to know someone different, then please do. But just bear in mind at the moment they're not really on site, and our communal facilities are locked up so that, you know, people can't go in and use them. But you know, when things are, or if things are ever back to normal, then please do pop in if you're passing. I'm sure the team would like to see a different face, but do ask us if you've got any queries. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. This is fantastic for me. This is a real crash course in housing, so I really appreciate it. So when you said pop in and see the team, is that? Sorry, I was making some notes. Where is that?
Well, they all work normally out on site.
Yeah.
So they were never based in the civic centre anyway. So they've all got their individual schemes, and obviously I've got a list of who does what that I can send out to people.
Okay.
But obviously at the moment they are pretty much working from home.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so very much, Jan.
Okay.
Oh, is that a question?
Yeah, I think Nicole is trying to get in.
Yeah, I've just.
I'm in now.
Oh, you're in. Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Brilliant. Welcome, Nicole.
Hello.
Hello, excellent. Thank you. Right, thanks, Jan. I'd like to now hand over to Loren.
Hello. Okay, so I'm completely green. I don't come from a housing background at all. So all you guys that are saying, you know this, you know that, you know what we do, and I don't, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to do some meetings with you so I can find out exactly what it is you do, so I can get up to speed with everything. But basically, from what I know my position to be, I've been brought in to liaise with TPAS to get a nice solid strategy together to move forward and become part, well, not part of, but support the neighbourhood officers, and to support the tenant board as well, build relationships with the wider team, the housing team itself, and have a plan and a schedule in place for everything going forward in sort of like the next 3 months. I think Helen wanted it by. But yeah, just bear with me whilst I learn the housing side of it. I come from an education background, so I've been in further education and higher education for 15 years, in construction, in motor vehicle and engineering. So that's kind of my background. Most recently, I've done a 4 or 5 years in recruitment as well. So putting people where they're supposed to be, dealing with people that are in quite a vulnerable position, trying to bring the best out in everyone, and facilitating and liaising is what I've always done. So if I can support anyone and learn from you, please do reach out, and I'm happy to help at the moment whilst I'm finding my feet.
Fantastic, Loren. Thank you so very much. Really appreciate that. How will people come into contact with you during the day? Are there some sort of standard bits that you would actually come into contact with? Could you tell us some of those?
You can call me. I've got my own mailbox as well now. Hold on a second, I've forgotten what it's called. I think it's called Tenant Involvement. So it'll be tenant.involvement@folkestone-hythe.gov.uk, or email me, ring me. I've got my phone number, I think, on the address book now. Skype me. I'm fully available all of the time, so please do reach out.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Loren. Thank you. Okay, moving on swiftly, folks. It is 2:45. We've got 15 minutes or so left. We now have a hello from Andre and Alex. I will go with Andre first and then followed up by Alex. Thank you very much, everybody else.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, my name's Andre Ford-Hamilton. As I said before, I'm the neighbourhood management specialist, overseeing the neighbourhood officers, or some of the neighbourhood officers, and Alex will be overseeing the other housing or neighbourhood officers. For me, I mean, I've been here since the 7th of September. My background is in housing. I've worked for a number of different housing associations and local authorities, and also a little bit in the private sector as well. And as I've said, I haven't had an opportunity to speak with everybody yet. I think one of the first things that I was quite aware of is sort of the workloads that people have and are under in terms of, you know, trying to get everything in preparation. So I'm quite keen not to ensure that I'm not bombarding everybody prior to them coming over. I think myself and Alex and Tom, obviously, who's my manager, have got some, you know, we haven't really had an opportunity to speak to each other as a group yet, and Alex is still yet to fully come over. So you know, I guess we will have to start to culminate some ideas around how we would like to work together in trying to ensure that obviously we're offering a great service to everybody. I am obviously fully in post now, so I think some of you guys have received some information in relation to, you know, who's managing who, etc. And I'm available. So I know I've asked some people in regards to sort of specific queries or concerns that they might have in relation to, you know, the transition and, you know, preparation for that. If there are any specific questions that sort of that people have or concerns, then I would urge people to come forward, or even comments. I think it's a good opportunity to try and establish and try and perhaps answer some of those burning sort of questions before we start. So I'm available. I'm open to speaking with everybody. I'm new to Folkestone in terms of the local authority as a whole, and I only moved to Kent in 2018, so I'm not really familiar with the area. So there's a lot for me to get up to speed with, and a lot for me to sort of learn. I know there's lots of people there with more local knowledge than I've got. Very aware of that. So yeah, as I said, I'm sure that it's going to be a good journey. There's lots to do, but I think it's an exciting time. I think it's a good opportunity for everybody to be part of. Not necessarily a transformation, but a good, I guess, be part of the change that's coming, really, and working from the ground up. I think it's a great opportunity to do that. And as you can hear, that's my doorbell going. I think that's my son coming home from school, so I will sign off now. But yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Andre. Thanks so much. Alex.
Saved by the bell, hey, Andre.
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm Alex Stock. I think most of you do know me. After a brief spell at Southern Housing Group, I started as a housing assistant at Folkestone Council about 12 years ago. And then I was a sheltered housing officer, as they were called then, an independent living manager, then a housing officer in Folkestone. And then I transferred over to Dover with East Kent Housing. So there's a few of you that I don't know, but I do know most of you. As Andre said, I don't actually start until next week and officially. So it's difficult for me to say too much, but obviously myself and Andre and Tom will be working quite closely to try and make sure there's kind of standard procedures and policies in place, you know, and that we're all kind of singing from the same hymn sheet. And, you know, I would hope you can come to me with any queries, you know, about those issues, really. Fingers crossed the patch sizes are going to be smaller. And, you know, I think I'd echo what Tom said, really, about how customers remember how they're treated, possibly more than the issue that they were asking, you know, to be resolved. And I do think that's true. I think, possibly without speaking out of term at East Kent Housing, possibly one of the problems with the split in the teams was there was quite a lot of, it's not us that deal with that, it's another team, and things tended to get passed around. So I hope the two things, you know, in terms of working with patches, the patch sizes are smaller, and hopefully that will give us a bit more capacity to kind of get on top of things. And equally, you know, hopefully things won't be passed around in the same way. And, you know, in the long run, hopefully that will make things better for the tenants, I think. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to starting next week. I don't have a lot more to say unless people have questions. But,
excellent. I think that's...
I'm new to management, so be gentle with me. That was just Karen.
Be gentle with you.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thanks very much, Andre. Thanks a lot, Alex. We're coming up to 10 to 3 now, just to let everybody know. We've got a couple of more bits we just need to get through. But I think after all of that, that's fantastic to hear from you all. I'd like to now hand over to Helen. Let's hear from you, Helen, about prepping for 1 October and beyond.
Jason. Thanks, everybody, for your input. It's really great, and it's really great to see how much experience and different experiences that everybody's bringing into the team. So it's very, very exciting. It's brilliant. Just wanted to sort of say the sort of things that I've been up to in the last 4 weeks, I guess, really. As you can imagine, there's been a huge project plan to make this all happen. Now I've obviously joined at the last minute, so I've been doing some of the actions that were on that action plan for me when I started. We've been collecting the East Kent Housing policies and procedures together and the templates, and Andre's done loads of work on that to try and transform them into Folkestone and Hythe documents, which is brilliant. Really want to thank colleagues that have sent me information, because that's been really, really helpful, because we haven't had some of that information given to us officially. So the unofficial stuff's been brilliant. So really thank you to everybody for that, who sent stuff through. We've identified the neighbourhood patches, and I sent that information out earlier this week. So hopefully everybody knows where they're going to be, the patches that they're going to cover. One slight problem at the moment is I don't think that the patches or the neighbourhood officers' patches will be on Northgate necessarily on the 1st of October. That work will happen, but pressures for Loren are a bit difficult at the moment. So I can't promise that will be there, but hopefully it will be there as soon as possible, so that people can look on Northgate and know the neighbourhood officer who they need to talk to. Obviously, because we've got no idea in terms of workloads or anything like that, the patches have been done a bit sort of finger in the air, and I apologise for that, but there was no other way we could do it. What will happen, obviously, is we'll look at workloads and see how that pans out over the next 3 months, and we might have to do some tweaking of the patches. So just bear with us on that one. Just let's see how things settle down first off. Unfortunately, we lost a member of staff who's not going to be joining us, so we've advertised that neighbourhood officer vacancy, and I think that closes next next week. So hopefully we can get somebody into post as soon as possible. One of our key processes, I think, is our voids and lettings process. So we've put quite a simplistic sort of process map together for that, and we've got a meeting later this week to go through that so that we can hit the ground running next week, and hopefully we won't slow any voids down. Andre's done some great work in terms of getting people's PPE and equipment ready. So hopefully people know that they're going to have a coat and PPE in terms of COVID and stuff like that. So if you haven't picked that up yet, that'll happen next week. As Loren mentioned, we've appointed TPAS to help us look at how we can put a strategy together for resident involvement. Loren will be obviously key in that and leading that, and TPAS will be supporting us to put that strategy together, which should be together for January next year. We've done work on the newsletter and the website, and the newsletter to tenants and leaseholders should be hitting their doormats on the 28th of October. No, not October, September. And we've been working on a draft neighbourhood officer training plan, so that when you come to us next week, you'll be sitting down with your manager, looking at the training that's required, what experience and knowledge you've got, and the sort of gaps that we need to fill. So that's one of our priorities, without a doubt. I just urge everybody to understand that everything won't be right on day one. Our expectations are really high, but we know this is a massive thing that's going to happen, and we mustn't expect everything to be exactly correct on day one. I haven't got all the answers, but together we will have the answers to get things right. I think reiterated what Tom said, really important that we all bring stuff to the table. It's not just for me to say we'll do this, that and the other, and that's not how I manage. I manage in terms of people giving their input into whatever challenges we might have to face. So one of the other things that we want to try and prioritise is sort of case management handover, and I know Andre's been started some work on that. So that's one of the other things we need to quite get sorted out as soon as possible next week. We'll be setting up one-to-ones for people, having learning and development plans for people, lots of support for everybody that's starting, whether you're a neighbourhood officer or whichever role that you're in, so that we're all doing things in a similar sort of way. And just finally, welcome. We'll have a proper welcome next week, obviously, with our induction, but it's great to see everybody, really excited to be working with you, and yeah, nice to see everybody today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Helen. Folks, we have come to 5 to 3. We do have a few minutes for any questions that anybody has. So if you have any, please ask them now, or stick them in the chat box. Or once we finish the call, in 10 minutes or half a day after the call, you go, should have asked that. Please, by all means, send. Helen, is it okay if they contact you directly? Yeah, brilliant. Pop Helen an email. Helen is with Folkestone at the moment, so her email address will be what I'm typing into the chat now while I'm speaking. Helen.Sudbury. There we go. That will be Helen's email address, so send her a message over there. But does anybody have anything that they'd like to raise now? Debbie, excellent. Got your finger up there.
Trust me. I just want to say I just hope that we can work right from the outset with I don't know if you call it place or the case team, because I guess that we're going to be working closely with them in a lot of the jobs we're going to do, and I think part of the problem we've had with East Kent Housing was that there wasn't that communication between management in each side, so from the housing management side to the customer and transaction side, and that's what's caused a lot of the problems. And I'm just worried that obviously case sit under a different directorate, and that we work together with them, so when we make decisions on how we're going to do things, that's maybe made in decision with them as well. I don't know how that's going to be shared.
Yeah, it's really good. What's that? Yeah, that's a really good point. Becky Edwards and myself have been working really closely together and will do. And obviously, she heads up that service area. And I think that what we want to try and do is put process maps in place for all of our processes and understand where case management finishes and specialism begins. So yeah, it's a big piece of work, but that's really my aim to make that as smooth as possible, and that we're not passing people from pillar to post, and that the customer gets a proper seamless service. So yeah, Debbie, I quite agree with you. We need to definitely bottom that. Yeah.
Fantastic, good question, Debbie. We've had Case that's been working. We've been working with Case, I think, since the end of last year. People are still getting their heads around that. It is working. It's just, yeah, definitely finding a way of putting those two over each other. But Becky and some of her team will be along at some of the meetings that will be happening on the induction day. Just to let everybody know now, I've had a chance to meet most of you, handing over your IT equipment. I will be emailing out tomorrow to let you know what's happening on induction day. But a quick summary: we'll have your corporate induction, then you'll break out into service areas, so like this, to find out more from Helen. And then after that, you'll go into separate team meetings to discuss how things are going to be delivered and your ways of working. That's just a very quick summary. Any other questions? Any other comments? No? Excellent. Good. Well, I think if there's nothing further from there, Helen, is there anything else you would like to say before we close?
No, just thanks everybody for coming today, and really looking forward to the 1st of October.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, and thank you very much to all of our speakers today as well, Tom, Jan, Loren, and Rich. 1 week to go, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I will stick around. Helen, do you want to hang around for a bit as well?
Yeah, please.
Jan,
Yeah.
Loren, and Rich, you could also just stick around. Everybody else, goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to stop the recording.